Hi guys, welcome in to Bolt from the Blue Tarot. My name is Sam. I'm an intuitive card reader, and I channel messages for your highest good and the highest good of all. Now we're going to start out by just ringing the wind chimes today. Energy has been a little shaky. We've got some nice, soft, like feminine energy from these decks today. We've got the Kuan Yin Oracle by Lana Fairchild. We've got the Modern Witch Tarot, and we have 78 Tarot Astral. And then maybe some advice from my good old storybook deck. Okie dokie. Start out with a general energy. A nice, soft, healing, divine feminine general energy for this crew. This is the one. Sound the fierce flute. Pale white energy from this. A little bit Archangel Gabriel, if you ask me. Card number 29. Sound the fierce flute. See what this is about. Earlier I told my smart speakers to play an energy clearing playlist of music that I made. And they misheard me and they just played some random stuff, but it was like flute and drum music. They sounded the fierce flute. All right, let's see. Discernment empowers you to make choices that are aligned with your spiritual intentions. Like a fierce-sounding flute cutting through all vibrations with purity and intent, your discernment allows you to stay true to your values and spiritual destiny without getting caught up in distraction. If you wish to grow spiritually through love, joy, peace, and abundance, then discerning between higher and lower vibrational choices is helpful. It is indeed. It is wise to be accepting of all of life and not to judge people or situations as good or bad. Some are more pleasant than others, and yet sometimes a challenge can turn out to bring us great growth and opportunity, which in turn becomes a blessing. However, this does not mean that we are wise to abandon the power of choice. We can use our discernment to be guided on our path to the most joyful, uplifting, and helpful experiences for our soul growth. Discernment is not judgment. It does not render some things better or worse than others. It is the power of selection based on desire or intention. If we intend to grow through joy and adventure rather than fear or suffering, then we can use our discernment to make choices that feel expansive and uplifting rather than constrictive or draining. Discernment is necessary in all realms of life, from the physical to the spiritual, from the sort of lifestyle we choose to lead to the people we choose to spend time with, or the ways that we spend most of our time, even the kinds of spiritual energies that we invoke. Discerning choices help us craft our reality. A wise use of discernment helps us to be truthful, clear, and accurate in our perception. Like the fierce flute cutting through all vibrations, discernment shatters illusions and gets to the truth of a matter, right to the essence. With truth, there are no nasty surprises later on, or if there are, we can deal with them swiftly and use them for growth with minimal suffering. We can ascertain what is real and what is false. This inner knowing informs our choices so that we seek out those people, places, opportunities, and experiences that feel aligned with love. Then our life path becomes one of greater joy and well-being. All right. Discernment. I have heard discernment explained as like the mature, it's judgment in its mature form. So judgment will say of other people or of ourselves, that is right, that is wrong. This is good taste, this is bad taste. I like that, I don't like that. And intention is much more about that is for me, that is not for me, right? Like, that is for my highest good, that is not. That feels right, this does not. And it doesn't put things in a hierarchy. So it's very easy to think that we are operating from discernment when we say, like, oh no, those people are low vibrational, or those ideas are low vibrational, so they're not for me. Because that, we've just put them in a hierarchy again, right? Like, it's judgment in it, wearing a different mask. But discernment, quite lovingly and compassionately, Kuan Yin is a Buddhist ascended master. So there's a Buddhist feel to this, of compassionately saying, that is not for me. No judgments from me on you, because it is for you, right? That is not in resonance. It's like a harmony thing with the flute, right? That is discordant to my frequency. It does not align. It does not harmonize well with me. And so I choose not to bring it in, not to take it on, not to have it around. But that's a personal discernment, right? Yeah, I think judgment hierarchizes, and discernment is more like, when you have your own aura, it's not about classifying energies as good or bad when you're trying to protect it and keep it cleansed and healthy. It's much more about, like, I allow this into my space because it's resonant and it's for my highest good. This I do not allow into my space. Like, it's all done lovingly and compassionately, rather than judgmentally, from a place of fear, lack, or restriction. It's very subtle, though, and it's something I always have to check in with myself about. Like, am I in judgment right now, or am I in discernment? Is this a discernment, or is this a judgment? What is the emotional energy that I'm bringing to this? All right, we're going to hop into the tarot. We're going to take our time to find the right card. Seven of Pentacles. This came out first in a spread a couple days ago. Nine of Pentacles. The Star. Knight of Swords. So I'm seeing an immediate dichotomy between the energy of the Seven of Pentacles and the energy of this Nine of Pentacles. So the Seven of Pentacles is, like, you can see it on the faces of these two women. Seven of Pentacles is impatient. She comes from a space of lack. She probably makes judgments over discernments. And they're facing opposite directions even in this reading. And this is the first card out of the gate. So she's looking towards nothing. Like, it's her attitude, her entire viewpoint is fruitless. Like, it's a very difficult space to manifest from. And then the Nine of Pentacles is facing the complete opposite direction. There's this abundance energy that she just resides in. She makes discernments over judgments, I would imagine. This parakeet on my head, yeah, that's for me. That's resonant. I mean, she's sitting in this like very fruitful garden, but there's this sense that whatever of the fruits and vegetables she's growing aren't ripe yet, she's not worried about them ripening because she knows it all happens in due time and there's natural rhythms. Like, the gardener doesn't control nature, right? They work with it. The Nine of Pentacles is looking towards the Star and the Knight of Swords. The energy is converging there. My sense is that you have some sort of recognition incoming. And it's coming in pretty fast. Or like it will, so long as you hold this energy of the Nine of Pentacles. As long as you turn towards it and away from the Seven of Pentacles energy. As long as you turn towards it and know that it's on its way. It's like the more you sit in this knowing, the quicker it arrives. This self-fulfilled abundance. Like the Nine of Pentacles here, her cup quietly overflows. Right? It's not showy. Like, there's lots of people in this deck that are dressed to the nines, right? But hers is this kind of mature poise, patient. Yes, self-fulfilled. Not tending toward excess. If there is excess, it's only of abundance. Yeah. All right, let's see what else from the 78 Tarot Astral. King of Wands. We've not had this one so far. Check out that energy. Two of Wands. Nine of Wands. This is a lot of wands. These cards have not come out yet on the channel at all. Nine of Wands. Check that out. Lots of purple, violet energy. There's a softening and an increasing receptivity as this goes on. From this King of Wands, I get a reminder that merrily, 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 life is but a dream, right? He's on this this floor reminds me of like a holodeck from Star Trek, or like Tron, It's this imaginary world. And it seems like he's wearing too much armor for an imaginary world. Like he's maybe overly protective. Yeah, I'm getting a sense of like, it's an imaginary world and I can create anything, so I better protect myself from my creations, or like anything is possible, and so I choose to be like, he doesn't think of it this way, but he's choosing fear by decking himself out and all of this stuff. I mean, how would your inner child view it, right? They wouldn't view it as like, oh, this is an imaginary world where anything can happen. Better batten down the hatches and like protect myself. They would view it as an adventure, right? Anything can happen. Sweet. Let me go and get my cape. I've got the whole world in my hands, right? Two of Wands has options. I get a sense from all the stuff around her, it's like it's spawning from her imagination. Or like she's pulling it in with her aura, with her magnetism, with her manifestation abilities. It's almost like she could let go of that earth, right? And she could do it with confidence and grace and ease, and just know that it's going to come back to her. It doesn't matter. She'll draw it back in. Okay, now that I'm looking at these again, I'm really seeing the Nine of Wands, the culmination here, as a combination of these two energies. And it's really representative of discernment, truly. Because to have discernment, we have to have gone through a lot. Like, we can go through a lot of negative stuff And this can put us in very judgmental energy, because it's a protective energy is truly what judgment is. It's like, oh no, I've been burned before. That's bad, right? This is good. And I am going to cling to the good and absolutely refuse the bad. This is an odd energy, right? This Nine of Wands, because I don't think she is odd in and of herself, but she is, like, discernment is actually pretty unique. Someone who's in discernment over judgment is quite a rare being on our planet Earth anyway. And she combines these two energies in a beautiful balance where neither one, like the negative polarities of either one, are thrown out and the positive aspects are kept. She has been burned before, but she doesn't let that negativity sway her into choosing fear or make decisions for her. But she does learn lessons from it, and she takes those forward. That's the positive way to view it, right? So she's still surrounded in this purple, protective, spiritually protected energy. She still has this staff, which, presumably she does magic with, but also could be used for self-defense, right? She doesn't go in unarmed. But at the same time, she's very soft and feminine and receptive, and she still has that magical aura around her, like she could magnetize anything in. Even to the point of, like, you see this kind of like BDSM outfit she's wearing. Like, I think this plays into it, where, like, you have to relinquish a lot of control and know that you are safe, right? Like, it's a, yes, I know the dangers, but I also trust that I am safe. Yes, I am exposed, but I am also protected. It's a very balanced energy. Like, it's receptive while being firm in boundaries. Magical while being protected. Yeah. I was going to go deeper on the BDSM thing, but I don't know. We'll keep it PG, huh? Yeah, let's get you guys some advice cards. This is a storybook deck that I created just because sometimes it's nice to have a more concrete piece of advice. Discernment is a very subtle, learned thing, and it comes from, like, you have to be pretty far on your spiritual journey, and you have to have gone through a lot in your life, had a lot of contrasting experiences, I feel. You have to really know yourself as well, while holding compassion even for those that have hurt you. For learning lessons rather than holding on to hurt. All right, let's see here. Oh my God. Rick and Morty at Blitz and Shits. So I've described this in one of the Tarot on the Goes. I described the whole situation, but basically this is a virtual video game where you play as a character. And there's this decision about like, how do you want to play in this imaginary world, right? They play as this avatar, right? But they think they are the avatar. And it's very much like a good metaphor for the soul within the body, the immortal soul within the avatar. And we're very protective, we're very protective of the avatar, but it's an adventure planet that we're on. And, we need to understand that there's a balance here to be held. There are energetic laws to be observed. Yes, like there are boundaries and there are dangers, but we hold it all in the balance. And this is what makes for masterful gameplay. This is what our soul wants us to be able to do, what it's working up to, like what our highest self is teaching us to do, this masterful way of moving through life, holding everything in the balance between extremes. The center of these polarities where there's almost paradox, but it's paradox that I'm just seeing like that crane position that the Karate Kid does. It's like this learned masterful balance of all elements, of all extremes. And this is what we're working toward. But at the same time, we want adventure, right? It's like, imagine you're going on a cruise or on a vacation, or like it lasts 7 days, this thing, and you're going to a completely different land. Your time there is sort of limited, and you have to use your discernment in how you spend it. Like, what activities do you choose each day? When do you choose to go to bed so that there's a balance between the fun you want to have on this vacation and the little bit of structure you have to incorporate so that you can have the most excellent experiences imaginable, and you can have kind of a balanced vacation where you enjoy what you came to see without overindulging in any of it, because there's so much to see, right? Like there's and this is how your highest self, how your soul views your lifetime on earth. To an immortal soul, it's a blip. So they want to make the most of it. They want to have like this joyful experience full of adventure. But to stay in that energy requires discernment, right? To be someone who attracts the adventure. Like, she has the parakeet on her head. She's no stranger to adventure. She likes a little adventure. Her life is an interesting one, but it's also a masterful one. She understands the laws of the universe, and she works with them to grow all the food she needs, right? Yeah, we think of these as two different stories, right? But they're the thing about discernment, about mastery, is that they are the same story. Because when you're in this protective energy, it's very much, the same as the Seven of Pentacles energy, in that it will attract more of the same, right? Your impatience will attract delay. Your dissatisfaction will attract less than satisfactory experiences. Your building barriers to the world to protect yourself will not allow the really good stuff to come in. your assessment that it could be very dangerous and you want to prepare for that worst case scenario will bring the worst case scenario to you. So yeah, it's like so to bring it back to Buddhism a little bit, with mindfulness meditation, there's this thing that happens where you observe all of your emotions, and you do really sort of sit in equanimity so that none of them pull you in any different direction. Like the masters of meditation who have spent thousands of hours in meditation, they're very equanimous. And you can look at this Nine of Pentacles and say, like, well, she's quite a dry character. Like, she's boring almost. Like, she never feels extremes of emotion. She doesn't, like, but there's something etheric and masterful and wonderful that happens because it's not like you watch all of these emotions play out, but over time, the more you meditate, it's like you feel the negative emotions for less time and in less extremes. And you would expect that to also happen on the positive end, but it doesn't. Like, what you actually get is sustained and longer, albeit sometimes lower levels of happiness, contentment, satisfaction, okayness, right? Like this quiet abundance. And a lot of it is just acceptance, because what you've learned from these extremes of emotion and watching them, like emotions have a half-life of like 7 seconds. I think that's from Sam Harris. He has a really good book on meditation called Waking Up. He's a neuroscientist, but he also has studied deep into Buddhism and meditation. Very interesting guy with some interesting viewpoints. But, oh man, what was I saying? Hang on. Let me get my train of thought back. Okay, guys, so I think it was something like by sitting in this equanimous acceptance energy, because it truly is acceptance energy, because nothing bothers you all that much. Like, the negative doesn't stay negative for you. The positive, you can really milk that effortlessly, and that's great too. It's like, it's all good. And this openness, this acceptance, this willingness to put yourself in potential danger, because that's just like the stakes of being alive, but knowing that you're in this for pleasure, and that's sort of what your focus is on. This acceptance energy is what brings in all of these goodies so much faster, because there's no resistance, right? Or what there is so minimal, where it's like, oh, okay, that's not what I had in mind, but that's great. Or, wow, that's really great. And I love that. I love that too, this abundance attracts abundance. And it's a non-doing, very, very much, more so than doing. So yeah, anyway, your piece of advice is to not limit what you do with your avatar in this lifetime. It's a big piece of advice, but once working within the laws of the universe, knowing how energy works, the only other limits are your own imagination and your self-belief. And your ability to sit in this self-fulfilled abundance where you're not pulled around. I mean, this can take a lifetime to get to this energy and stay in it. But I feel like I wouldn't be called to give you this advice unless it was within reach for you, in the cards for you. Do you know what I mean? It's in the cards for you. All of the lessons I've been bringing through recently have been subtle adjustments, recalibrations, or shedding light on something that is like a subtle aspect of a larger lesson, or just something that needs to be brought in to an already working formula, or like to a little bit of a micro adjustment to an already very balanced person. And I'll say it again, it's such an honor to read for people who have done so much work. Thank you for doing this work and for being in the space you're in. I am very proud of you. It takes a lot. It takes having gone through a lot to get to this energy. And it takes a lot of wisdom to have ears to hear this particular lesson. You have to hold paradox in the palm of, hold paradox in the palm of your hand and be cool as a cucumber doing it. But that's you, and you are capable of it. All right, guys, thank you for joining me. I hope you have a blissful rest of your day. I'll see you in the next one.